Hello, this is Nick from ReviewOutlaw.com. Today I'm going to go over the things to know before trying kiteboarding. So this is me here, um, basically going out kiteboarding in Ninigret Park, which is in Rhode Island, down in Charlestown, Rhode Island. And it's basically a pond, interior pond. It's basically right on the flip side of the ocean. So this is the pond portion, and maybe another 50 feet on the other side is the ocean. The wind today is about 15 miles per hour. It's just a little bit below that, so it's gusting up to 15, but it's going down to about 10. And I have something called a 12-meter kite. For that wind, it should actually be a bigger kite, and for that reason, I'm actually, instead of using a kiteboard, I'm using a surfboard, so I get a little bit more buoyancy. But those are kind of the technical details. Let me just talk a little bit about what kiteboarding is, why I love it, and why you should also, a couple of warnings, I guess, for you. So one thing to know right off the bat, if you want to try kiteboarding, and I'm sure if you've looked on YouTube, you have to know it's extremely dangerous. Do not be under any assumptions that it's not. It's probably one of the most dangerous sports I've tried. Also one of the most kind of intense rushing feelings you get to when you get kind of lifted into the air. So right now I got my harness on, double check all my safety equipment. I got a little leash there, which kind of pulls in, pulls out. So if I fall, I don't lose any of my equipment. I got my longboard here, which is let me float kind of in low winds. Basically, a couple things is, one is the community is really nice. This is the guy who's helping me kind of launch the kite. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's something that you definitely want to get lessons in. You do not want to go out and try to figure it out yourself by looking at YouTube videos or anything. They will definitely help, and I'm not saying don't look at YouTube videos to kind of give you refreshers and reminders, but you do not want to use YouTube videos as a learning tool. So basically, to get the kite up, you're going back to the wind. I think this guy is a beginner because he's not really doing a great job of launching my kite. But that's what's great about the community, is you kind of learn from each other, and everyone kind of watches out for each other as well. So as far as pricing, a basic kite, you can look anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 to kind of get yourself involved with it. That's cheaper than a boat compared to like wakeboarding or something like that, but at the same time, it's not super cheap. It's much more expensive than getting like a surfboard or something like that. The other thing you need to know is it's super dependent on wind. You have to really look at your wind conditions and look at which direction it's going in. So it's not something you can do just any time. It depends on your location, where you live too. If you're near the ocean or near some lakes, you're going to have good conditions and good places to go. One thing that's very interesting is it's very, very technical, so you need to know where the wind is going. You need to have control of the board. You need basically to know your wind window, it's called, and as you can see, I've crashed the kite. That's fine. I'm not a pro by any means. I'm definitely a beginner. I've gone out maybe 4 or 5 times. I have gotten lessons, so that's something to be aware of. This is the kind of beginner lesson guide, is what I would call it. Another pro about kiteboarding is I've been kiteboarding in Rhode Island. I've also done it in Mass, and I've done it in Florida. And where I go, they're super, super supportive, super nice people, a great group of people. So they really are a great community. You can meet some kiteboarders, and they'll show you where the rocks are, and they'll give you helpful hints. So as opposed to other sports where they're more competitive, this is one that they embrace you with open arms. If you have wakeboarded before, you definitely will accelerate your learning process and catch on a lot quicker. But there is also a sailing portion of it where you know a little bit about tacking and how the wind direction affects what you're going to do. So that's something also to note. And if you don't know anything about wind, you'll have to learn some stuff real quick. So all in all, I think it is something that's not for everyone. You need to be a technical-minded person who's willing to kind of look at the weather and kind of be in the right place at the right time. I think if you like really difficult things and you'll really like wakeboarding, I think it's a fun thing. It's not a super cheap thing, so there are definitely sports out there that are easier to get into. But if you want to give it a try, I'd probably recommend going on vacation and going somewhere tropical and seeing if you get a lesson or two. That'd be the best way to see if you're into it and that's something you want to take any further. All right, I hope you liked my video. Give me a thumbs up or comment if you have any questions. Thanks.